So one thing that you might notice looking at our website is our text kind of conflicts with our image. We don't exactly have our logo right where we want it to be at. Basically, we have no means of controlling the layout. I mean, I could probably click up here and hit space a couple times and we see it doesn't really move where we want it to. And maybe it would be really nice if, I'm going to get out of this split view and just go to design view, if our text could just be over here on the right side and maybe we put a box behind it, flip the colors of the text, put a darker box behind it, make the text white so it doesn't conflict with this image. Like somehow get this text over here to stay on the right side. There is a way to actually do that, and it's called AP division boxes, or using absolute position division boxes. So what I need to do is I need to actually create a bunch of absolute position division boxes, put the content in these division boxes, and then use the division boxes kind of like containers and control the location of the containers. And by creating these containers and controlling where they're located on the site, I can put anything in these containers and I know that the container will contain the content and not let it just flow all over my website. So I'm going to create what's called an absolute position division box. I'm going to go up here where it says insert, and then where it says comment, I'm going to click this drop down. I'm going to choose layout, and there's a bunch of options in here, and the one that I want is draw AP div. So I'm going to click on draw AP div. My cursor changes to a plus symbol, and I'm just going to randomly draw one anywhere. I'm not going to care too much about what size it is or where it's at. I'm just going to draw a square. And I know already what I'm going to do with this box. I'm going to put my logo inside of there. So I'm just going to click on the edge of this box so that I see handles. And when I see handles, I notice down here my properties panel will also change. And the 4 boxes that I'm really interested in is this LTWH. L stands for the position from the left side of your page, and T stands for the box's position from the top side of your page. Width stands for the width of the box, and height stands for the height of the box. I'm going to make this match the exact dimensions of my logo. So this was 265 and my height was 153. So now it should be the exact same size as my logo. So I'm going to click on my logo, press Ctrl X on my keyboard to cut that, click inside of my AP div box and press Ctrl V to paste it in there. So now I have my logo inside of this AP div box, and it just happens to be positioned in the middle of my page. If I go to live view, I can see that my logo is there. And now I need to control exactly where it is located. So I'm going to go back to split view really quick. And I want this to be kind of 100, maybe 100 pixels from the left. So I'm going to choose 100. Over here where it says L. And maybe I want this to be 10 pixels from the top. And this header information, all of this text, I'm going to just hit enter a couple times and just move it down some. Now I'm going to go to live view. I can see that it's not all the way over to the left side, and I can see it's not all the way over to the top. This actually looks pretty good. This is what I kind of wanted it to be. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So I'm going to do the same thing with my text here. But before I do that, one thing that I know that my site's going to need is kind of like a navigation area. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another AP div, and I'm just going to draw one kind of just random in here in some location. I'm not going to worry too much about how wide it is or what side it is at this point in time. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to change this to 100. From the top, this is going to be about 111. The width of this thing is going to be 1170 pixels, and the height of my nav panel is going to be about 38 pixels. So this is what it looks like thus far. I'm going to go ahead and look at this in live view. I won't actually see anything since it's kind of invisible right now. One thing that I might want to do is maybe change the background color of this nav panel area. So while I have this thing selected, I'm going to go down here to the bottom where it says BG color. Click on that, and maybe I want it to be kind of maybe a black color. I'm going to draw another AP div box, and this is going to be for the text body. I actually want to make one for my header here because I do have a header that needs a text box. So I'll just draw one in here. Click on the edge of this thing. Basically what I'm doing is repeating procedure of what I did up there, and I kind of planned this out a little bit in Photoshop on how exactly I wanted this to be. So from the left it's already set to 100. From the top, maybe I want it to be just a little bit closer, maybe there. Not exactly 100% sure where I want that to be. The width of this, I want it to match my nav panel, so it's going to be 1170. And maybe from the top, I don't know, maybe I want this to be, try 100. No, that's too tall. So let's do 160, see what we get. That's a little bit better. And then as far as the height goes, right now I'm just going to leave it at default at 44. And what I do want to do is cut and paste this header content inside of there. So I'm going to do a Control X and Control V. And right now we see that it changed. So I'm just going to select that. Go down here where it says format, it says none. I'm going to choose header 1. That way it actually has a format. Click on this outer box again, and then where it says H44, I'm just going to delete that out. And by deleting it out, you're saying conform, make the height of this box conform with the content. There we go. Alright, now we have to deal with paragraph content. So over here on the right side, I'm going to get out of split view for now so I can just have a little bit more screen real estate here. And I'm just going to draw another AP div box over here. Not caring too much. Oh, it's a little bit too big. About the size of this right now. Click this outer side here. And I'm going to make it from the left about 750. And like I said, I kind of planned this out a little bit in Photoshop. From the top of the web page, it's going to be about 302. And then the width of this box is going to be 500 pixels. And you do need to make sure that px is in there, otherwise it'll use a different unit of measurement. And then the height of this thing is going to be, and right now I'm going to leave it at 463, and I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the header. I'm going to eventually just delete this out. If I delete this out now, this is what will happen. It makes it really small. So I actually need to have a value in there for now until I get some content in there, and then I'll actually delete it. So I'm going to just select all of this stuff here that I had pasted in earlier. Do a Control X, go inside this AP div box, do a Control V. Now I can select this AP div box, and down here where it says 500 pixels, I can actually delete that out, which brings it down, makes it conform to the size of the text. So the other thing that I might want to do is I probably don't need all of this text, but for now I'm just going to leave it in there for the purposes of this demonstration. Another thing that I want to do is change the background color of this thing, so I'm just going to select this, and then where it says BG color, maybe I want this to be a little bit more darker. Maybe I want it to match the color of something on the page itself. Maybe I'll choose something like this. And we can see that it's kind of really dark right now, and we'll actually go through and do some more tweaking with that. Or maybe I'll just choose black. And we can see that the color of our text doesn't exactly match this background, so we're going to actually have to change the color of our text here. So what I'll probably do is select all of this. Actually, I have my cursor where it says paragraph, format, paragraph. Go to page properties, and maybe I'll change the text color to be white. Click OK. And it should change all of my text colors to be white. But now I notice I have a problem with header 2. And we also have a problem up here with our main header. So we also need to change that as well. So I'm going to go to Page Properties and go to Headings. And right now it's set to this gray and this black. So for heading 1, I'm going to actually pick a color for it. And maybe I want it to be a color that's existing on my page. Maybe I'll pick the color of this leaf or something. Maybe something a little bit brighter. And then for heading 2, I probably need to go with maybe a gray scale here. Click Apply, click OK, and that reads a little bit better now. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. We still need to do a lot more with this. It looks a lot better than what it did before because, you know, we can actually see the text. It's not on top of this tree over here. We have a few other issues here that we need to deal with. For example, our logo is behind this bar, so if we go to live view, we really can't see our logo. And what we can do is we can change what's called the Z index. So what we really want is for our logo to come on top. So right now if I click on my logo and I go down here to my properties, it says the Z index is set to 1. So I'm going to change this to 10. The bigger the number is, the closer it is to you. The smaller the number, the farthest away. So if I choose 10 and then I click off, it should now appear on top. And if I go to live view, it should appear on top. So I'm going to get out of live view and click on my nav panel area. And I can see that that one had an index of 2, which was greater than the old logo index of 1, which would have made that panel appear on top. So I'm going to go ahead and just click Save again.